Gaz Large here with another fix it for you video for you, and no sooner have I fixed my friend's multi-tool, and he says he's ever so grateful, and he comes back and he says, I've got a sander, but a sander which is always on, and the reason is that the switch broke some time ago and he's just taped it together, and he needs to change that switch. Also that the mains cable is a little bit on the damaged side, as you can see there. So that's a couple of quick little jobs we should be able to fix. I'm not going to bother to test it, I'm just going to take it apart and see if I can change that switch. I've got a selection of rocker switches which I think will do the job. This is a DeWalt, so it's a pretty tough old piece of kit. Just got to see how to get it apart. Now we've got some screws in the top here which just look like they could well be Torx. I think they are. Yep, they are, but they've also got a slot in it, so we may well be able to open it just with a standard flat screwdriver, which we can. Saves digging in all the Torx drives, getting them apart. So it should release the top bit, which it does. Dusty, and there's the bit of wire that he's taped together with some insulating tape. So let's see if we can just pull that tape off. Yeah, goodness, this insulating tape is the old cloth type. Goodness knows how long he's had that in his toolkit. Cloth type insulating tape. Thought that went out with the arc. Anyway, there's the bits of wire. In fact, actually what he's done is he's just wedged together two clips rather than soldered it or whatever, so we may be able to make use of those. But anyway, at least we know we can do that. Let's just have a little rustle through my box of rocker switches. That's a push switch. Rustle. I had some rocker switches in here, I'm pretty sure I had. Ah, there we are. There's a nice rocker switch. Will that fit into there? Do you know, it sort of will. It's not designed for this type of operation, but I think we may be able to put that in there. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll cut these wires off and solder them directly onto that. I may be able to. This has got a surround. It should go in there. Let's just see if I've got a slightly bigger one. I think they're all the same. I've got a bigger one, but that's too big. Although yeah, it would fit in there if I cut off the bits and pieces. Slightly different one. That's much too big. It's amazing the junk that you've built up over the years. One thing I don't want to do is go cutting anything apart of the actual. I think if I was to take off these two little wings that hold it in, if I cut those off and there's just maybe file a slot down the side, I can get them to go in there. Yeah. Well, let's give that a go. I've got no other purpose for that switch. Just chuck that tape away. Let's get the old Stanley blade out. Cut those off. Now, will that fit into that gap? Yes, it will. And that will fit into there as well. So yeah, so I think I've just got to put a little mark on here where that's got to have a slot filed in. Okie dokie. It's not a very big slot. I think the best thing is if I get my Dremel out and Dremel it away with an edge. It'll be a lot better than trying to file it. Right, got my Dremel out and connected up, so all I need to do is to just put my little grinding disc into here. Dremel, one of the most brilliant little tools that you can have. Now I just want to make sure that this alignment is dead on, so I'm just going to remark this line because it's not quite in the right place. Right, so that one is. There we go. So now we've got that side. So we know we've got, let's put a T on here so we know it's the top. Just realise the camera's not pointing in the right direction. Let's bring it forward a bit, sorry about that. Alright, so then, yeah, so with that on the top, we need the line to be behind the one I was trying to file in the first place. I think the plastic moulding is not quite square. In fact, you can actually see it slightly off centre, so that now fits snugly into there. That's okay. I only go down so far, so we just want to make sure which of these two lugs we want, because we only want two. One of these, I think, because I think this is actually illuminated. I think that's what that other option is. Yeah. So that's the one that's the two we want, and they're happily the two that we actually need. Yeah. So this connection here, I'm just going to bend it backwards and forwards and snap it off. Fits into there. In fact, actually could go a little bit further back because that front is just catching. So I think I'll just take those grooves back slightly so I can make it fit a little bit better. Good, so we get the file off those rough edges. A square fit. This one just back a little bit more, I think. So I can do with the file. I've also got some little bits of plastic here on here which we can cut out. That looks good so far. Let's just tuck these wires in here and see if the top still fits on. Which it does. That doesn't look half bad. Those connectors are pretty much shot, they're the wrong size anyway, so I'm going to just see if I can pull them off, so cutting the wire back too sharply. They won't pull off, let's cut them. Trim them back. So we should now be able to solder those on. Get rid of the rubbish. Check the time. Nearly lunchtime. Tool safe. I remember buying this Dremel second hand off eBay, not working. Basically stripped it down, gave it a good clean, changed the brushes in there, put it back together, works wonders. Very happy with that little device. Right, solder iron should be nice and hot by now. Look lights as it is. Let's just level something there. Okay, now I'm going to tin these connectors on this switch, but I don't want them to get, I want all the heat to go inside there and do damage, so I'm just going to hold it with the helping hands, which will sink away a little bit of the heat whilst I tin it. So that's one side done. The other side done. Bring that up and into place. We should be able to solder weld these two together. See if we can make sure sure the wires don't go where they shouldn't go. Oh, looks good. Pop the lid back on. Put some screws in. I'm just putting this back together for now because I've got to repair this mains cable, but I just want to put this together properly so it's safe for when I test the switch. Okay, now depending on which way I've got the switch, it may start up straight away. That switch seems to be perfectly okay. Held in place quite well. Half the job done. And see how the wires are. Again, they're held in place in a screw in there. That looks like a T10 Torx. That size of screw. Yep. Probably 11. Not sure. Now, how this circuit board comes off of here. Does it lever off easily? Yes, it looks like it does. And inside we've got two screws. Metal plate comes away. Live on that side, let's just mark that up. Pull those wires out. That's where it's damaged to, so we can cut that back off of there. And then just ease back the insulation. How much do we want to go back? About there. If you look at my other video on the multi-tool repair, you'll see I gave some advice on why I do my wire stripping like this. Looks a tad awkward and cumbersome, but believe me, it's better to be safe than sorry. There's my little mark. I think I've gone beyond my mark. Yeah, never mind. And now we've got the inner cores bared, but with no damage to the inner insulation. Bare off these wires. Tin them with a soldering iron. twisted nice and tight before we do it. If I've jumped to this bit, it's because I inadvertently didn't check that it was on camera when I did that last little bit, so apologies for that. Nice tight screws. Back to there. Were they around there? I think they were around there. Yeah, probably like that. Metal plate over the top. Rubber. Sleeve needs to go in there. That sleeve is a bit on its last legs anyway. The switch is back to front compared to the markings, but I don't think you'd even be looking at that. Let's just plug it in. Job done. Another quick fix. So for a DeWalt DW411 sander. Now obviously, you know, if there is a proper spare part for this, the best thing would be to find and get the original spare part switch. But if you can't get that, then obviously if you've got an old piece of kit that's not doing anything and it's got a rocker switch in it, you could reuse that, and that's basically where this switch has come from, something old that I've rescued or thrown bits of it away and kept the bits that could be useful. So that's a good fix as far as I'm concerned. Should be okay. Thanks very much for watching. Do like and subscribe. Share the channel with your friends if you find it really interesting. I'll be back with another fix it video for you as soon as I can. Cheerio.